So, like, looking back, is there things that you guys wish you knew about doing a PhD before you started?
I guess this is a whole other discussion in itself, but the reality of post-PhD options
Mm.
is a big one.
Yeah.
Like if I knew what I was in for, then I think maybe I would have given it a bit more thought. Because I feel like, especially with academia, with anything really, the race starts during the PhD. So the more stuff you have built up before you graduate, the better position you'll be.
Yeah.
So
No one tells you that. Yeah.
Yeah, no one tells you that. Like, and in uni or any other thing, you just need to be good at what you're doing now and get it done. But it's different. With a PhD, and you have to have as much under your belt.
What about you, X?
For me, it's the sort of interpersonal skill that required for that. It's very different. Understanding the power dynamic and when it's the right time to push for it, when it's the time to be humble, and then sort of how when you're starting the struggle and your supervisor is not giving you feedback, how do you navigate that emotion? Yeah, because for me, it was such an emotional journey, which I did not expect, because I thought that I'm already very equipped as a person to deal with hardship. Surely PhD, how can it be like emotionally?
Yeah.
Emotionally, how can it be, right?
Yeah. You have to be very resilient.
Yes.
So there
Do you
was.
feel like you're much more resilient?
Yeah. So that was something else I think we're going to talk about a bit later on as well. But I definitely it hardens you up, like going through this trial by fire. So I actually have a story about this. So, and I think Y already knows this. So I had a family friend who wanted to start a PhD, and they wanted me to give them some advice about, PhD life and what it's like. So I didn't know this until later, but her whole family is like academics or something. Like, why are you even asking me then? But anyway, I think because she wanted to do a PhD in Australia or something. And so I just gave her, I think it was like second year of my PhD. So I was really, really real, right? I was in the depths, and I was like, look, I'm going to be honest with you. Like, there's not a lot of job prospects out there. And it's like, it's hard to like get a fellowship, like grants, like the rate. It's like very, very low, right? So difficult. So you have to be really passionate about what you do, and you have to be really sure before you start this. And she was like, bro, you sound like super disillusioned. Are you okay? I was like, I'm just trying to tell you.
I'm not okay. Need a freaking mental well-being day.
But I'm just being real with you. This is like exactly what it's like. She was like, oh, but my dad seems pretty happy, blah, blah. I'm like, well, you know what? Fuck you. Like, I'm just, but yeah. I don't know if she ended up doing a PhD.
Like, did you focus on when you're telling her, like giving her advice? Was it mostly about the post-PhD job prospects?
I think it was just like, she was just like, what is it like doing a PhD in Australia? And I was just like, this is what it's like, and yeah, it's like, this is what you should know going in that no one tells you. It's not a stable career, and it's really hard to get funding afterwards, and a lot of it is determined by factors that you don't think. Like, when you go into it, at least for me, I wanted like to help people, essentially. Like, it's like science, right? You just you do the research and you're really passionate about it, you make a finding and it helps people, but that's really not what it's about. Like, it's very much metrics based. So it's like the number of publications you like, the amount of money you can bring in. It's just like no one tells you that's what it is. But like, I mean, the people who are really lucky are the people who like can align those two things, so they're really passionate about the thing they do and they can get a lot of money for it. But like most people, it's a game you have to play, essentially.
Yeah. And also, like, if you be passionate about something, it has to be the area that you're passionate about.
Yeah.
But when you're first coming out of the PhD, you're like hopping on projects. You don't have much choice to be necessarily in the field that you are the most passionate about. And depends on, whether the project is going well and whether they want you to do things, for your own academic career. You may not able to have the opportunity to sit there for 6-12 months, you move on to another project.